Hasty Tenement Tuesday on the hottest breakfast show south of Sahara, Northern Limpopo. Hashtag Jivingunza on her. You know, if it's Tuesday, it's all about the docket. And of course, in the studio, Edwin Abuya, Philip Murto, Fanyamambo Kinodia. And Fanyamambo last week had said he would be front and center in every street in the city. And today, ameingiwa na Njeve. Ameingiwa na Njeve. We feel...
Si walisema watatutumia Pokot Warriors kina Kamket. And we are telling them, you see, hata kama unataka kututumia Pokot Warriors, the first thing we know is GenZ watakuja kwanza watuulize barabara. Because these people are probably coming to Nairobi for the first time. And they'll spend so much time looking at the expressway, looking at the new vehicles and saying hii inatumia mafuta ama inatumia nini. Before they can figure out their ways in these streets, we shall have disarmed them and beaten them to a pulp. You cannot beat the common goodwill of people by bringing hooligans to come and beat up your young people. And by the way, a government that organizes violence against its own children is not a government. This is a collection of terrible human beings occupying offices that are government offices. Otherwise, there's nothing here that you can call government. If I was president and if I was advising these people, one of the first things I would have done, I would have told Isaac Mwaura to shut up. The next thing I would have done is I would have called GenZs and told them, look, I think we can do something different. Actually, we will facilitate you to come and light candles in the streets. I would have turned that Parliament Street into an altar. Just tell them, look for the pastors you believe in and the bishops you believe in. Come and hold a church service on this Parliament Street. Come and do an interdenominational prayer. Look, because kuna mapasta mnasema they've been compromised, look for the right ones. Look for even the Archbishop, for example, Moheria, who stood with Kenyans. Come and hold Holy Mass outside Holy Family Basilica. Light candles. Get whoever you think as young people is a good person. And come and be allowed to have interdenominational prayers on the streets of Nairobi. And actually, remember the Muslims, I thank them and I celebrate them, did a lot of good work for Kenyans when they were being beaten up on the 25th. They turned Jamia Mosque into a rescue center where people were being assisted. You can also have the Muslims being told, look for a place where you're able to look at Mecca and also have prayers on the streets of Nairobi on that particular day. That would have fizzled out this demonstration. But again, whom do they have as advisors? Watu wengine jina inaanza na David. And by the way, Ruto was probably surviving until he started using some people called David as advisors. Now it's even worse.
Last name?
Oh, the last name, kwetu kuna mosquitoes. Zinalianga hivo. Hivo.
Yeah. Obuya.
It's the sound made by mosquitoes.
Obuya.
Like Fanyamambo says, just shows how insensitive some government officials are. For you, because they are not new in Kenya, they know what happened on 25th of June last year. They know how people lost their lives. They know there are people who are still missing since that time. When you were watching news yesterday and you saw the stories that were done by Mashirima Kapombe and Gatete Njoroge, you feel the pain of the parents that are the pain that the parents are going through. You feel the pain of those families. People have not moved on. But for some insensitive government officials then to come and speak as if they don't care, as if people are just they want to reduce everything to politics. They want to make it to be about Gachagua, to be about Kalonzo. This is not about Gachagua or Kalonzo. Kalonzo or Gachagua are not even involved in what happened last year, June. And so for you to reduce each and everything, the pain the people are feeling to politics, is just being too insensitive. And I must call out Akina Kamket, William Kamket. We must call out David D. I would mention him here. We must call out, all those government officials that are planning to wreak havoc tomorrow. Sakaja has said he is not involved, but his name has been mentioned over and over and over for planning the goons that happened last week during demos. My prayer is, and I hope that the police are going to restrain themselves tomorrow. I hope that the government officials that are threatening the youth are going to restrain themselves tomorrow, because these youth who are threatening are not they are not buying that fear. You've been doing the threats over and over and over, and it has not stopped them. And so if you bring goons to the streets and these youths are going to come out anyway, what we may see is mayhem. We might see something worse than what happened on 25th of June last year. And so I pray that the government officials then are going to exercise restraint. The police are going to exercise restraint. Let the GenZs come out. Let them do what they need to do. Let them remember their fellow youth that died on that day, and then we go home, in a peaceful manner. Remember, Jeff, what happened during the swearing in of Raila Odinga, the mock swearing in of Raila Odinga. People expected Nairobi to be mayhem. People expected havoc on that day, but that day police just decided we are going to restrain ourselves, and they came in their numbers. Actually, I was there covering, and they came in their numbers. And once Raila did what he did, they went home. Yeah. There was nothing. There was no, and even people who tried to steal then, who tried to use that advantage to steal, they were being hammered by the same Raila supporters who had came for the swearing in. And so we can manage to have a peaceful demos if police restrain themselves, if these government officials then also restrain themselves and don't bring the goons on the streets.
There has been this talk and this narrative that in Kenya there will never be peaceful demonstrations. In Kenya there can be peaceful demonstrations. Just that we have individuals who want this to be an outlawed kind of engagement that they keep saying it can never be peaceful. How about tomorrow? Because I'm very sure, as required by the Constitution and the laid down regulations, that when you are notifying the police, you will tell them we'll use this route and here this is how we'll go through town. How about tomorrow, instead of waking up and taking those contingents of police, armed police officers to certain corners of the town, of the city, to wait for these youths, how about you line them up along the streets that have been earmarked for the procession, and then deal with any person that will be out of that procession, and then see if we will ever have any violent demonstrations. I think someone is benefiting from the tagging of maandamano in Kenya as violent. That is why they will not do what is needful. They will not line up along the streets as is expected of them. That is why they will want to hide in some corners so that they create confusion and give allowance to those that are supposed to infiltrate the maandamano to cause mayhem, so that it is said again, there they go. Very, very destructive. I would implore upon the police that at the period where they need so much to salvage their name, they should not allow whoever that gives orders to get them into another mess of tainting their name. Let them seize the moment tomorrow and try redeem whatever is left of their name.
This administration runs on the blood of young people. Every opportunity they have to shed blood, they gladly take it. I don't know, wanapeleka hii damu wapi. It's just too much. Every time they have an opportunity to shed blood, they are happy. Again, I tell you, it goes to advice. It's a stupid set of advisors. If I was advising this administration, they knew. People started saying kutakuwa na maandamano na kutakuwa na holiday ya GenZs. One of the first things they should have asked themselves is, where do you not want GenZs to go? And the answer is the streets of Nairobi. If this administration had set up a proper monument somewhere in Uhuru Park, because that's why we have Uhuru Park, a proper one with a placard with the names of every young person, take time and ask them, give us a list of any young person who lost their life around that time and you want to honor them.
Or who is
and then
missing.
And who is missing. And so we do a nice list, kama ile ya pale bomb blast. Make a nice place and tell young people on that day 25th, come to Uhuru Park and come and unveil it in your own style. Light candles there, celebrate their lives. Do you know what? There would have been no street demonstrations. Every young person would have been at Uhuru Park and they would have gone there to open up that place and celebrate all the names and they say these they are heroes. Everything would have happened to Uhuru Park. It would have been controlled. The government should have even promoted and said, we are going to give you sound. We are going to give you a stage. We are going to give you security. You come, you have so what would that have done? Everybody would have been on a microphone shouting at government, saying all sorts of things, but where? At Uhuru Park. And then they would have gone home. But look at the administration. He's telling them to get goons. Now, they want to exonerate themselves from this mess. I want us to understand. Since when? Ebu jaribu saa hii uende uvunje bini ya Kanjo. Uone kama utaenda 2 steps. Kanjo askaris are known to be the most vociferous human beings that ever existed.
Hey.
And those things... vociferous. Those things... those human beings or those creatures have been seen to arrest people in such horrible manner that even though even stabbing some people at some point. But conveniently during demonstrations, there's no Kanjo askari available to protect Kanjo property. Do you know why? Because they wanted to do what they did on the expressway. At one point in time, goons were literally paid and sent. You know, they use our money. I don't know whether Kenyans understand the pain of this. A guy you have elected, you elected a guy who needs a court order to prove to him that he actually went to university. And some of us have seen a copy of his fake degree. He hasn't. Now, some of these people go and pay goons using your money. And then those goons went and destroyed the expressway. And then when they destroyed the expressway, there was a budget of 700 million for the repair of expressway. Na by the ni flower vessels zilivunjwa. Sai mutasikia budget imepronounziwa hapa ya Kanjo. Utu tureli tulikuwa tunavunjwa na hizo bins za takataka, utasikia a huge budget for the replacement of those ones. So what we are doing is we are actually stealing from ourselves. These people are actually benefiting from maandamano. They are hoping it happens, and conveniently, kama unakumbuka maandamano ya 25th, we are not forgetting. City Hall ilichomeka conveniently on the sides where records are kept. But where money, cash office ya Kanjo ijaichomeka. Where money is coming in, it's fireproof. Yeah. So
you might get that command that go and do ABCD, but when the rubber meets the road, you are alone.
Yeah.
Right now, the young man, the 2 young men who shot the hawker are facing the law alone. You know, the command is saying we did not sanction that kind of action. And so I just hope that our police are going to be restrained, so much so that they just allow the GenZs to, you know, do their thing. You know, when the army came to the streets on just after June 25th, you know, and we expected that the army maybe is going to be rough on the youths and they are going to hammer them, but they were just on the streets, and the GenZs, when they were demonstrating, they were taking selfies with them. That's the kind of a service that the police is expected to be. You know, they say that at times they might be, you know, poked and provoked by the GenZs, but the Bible says to whose much is given, much is expected. This is somebody, you've gone to the training, you've been trained how to deal with certain situations, and so you don't expect that when somebody provokes you, you are going to, you know, react by you know, shooting him in the head point blank. And this maandamano are not just going to be in Nairobi alone. You know, you forget that, because the GenZs died all over the country during that time, and we expect the demos will be in Nairobi. We expect the demos will be in Kisumu. We expect that the demos are going to be in Mombasa, at least those major towns. Yeah. And so these people who are trying to sell fear, these people who are trying to tell the youth, say goodbye before you come to the streets, my youth, bana, hawanunui hii fear. They are telling them, okay, you kill us, you are going to get 2 million, because it's come at your standard. When you are killed, the president sends you 2 million to your parents. And so these people are not getting the fear that you are trying to sell. This is a different generation from ours. You know, ours tunakuwa naogopanga hata parent akisema we unasema wacha niachie hapa. Hapa sasa hivi mtoto utamwambia, as a parent you say something and you will say dad, but you are wrong. And so this is a different generation that the government is trying to deal with, and the way they are trying to deal with it is not going to work. I just pray, and I repeat again that. Okay, I repeat again is not good English. I repeat that I repeat that the government should restrain itself. The police officers should restrain themselves. The government officials that are threatening the youth must restrain themselves. Let the youth come, let them do their thing. Then after they do their thing, they can go home. And we'll still have a peaceful country. It serves no purpose. It serves no purpose, whether for GenZ or for government, if you are going to leave 5, 7, 10 bodies on the streets that are dead. It serves no purpose. Even for our image as a country, it serves no purpose.
An example of when an accident happened that involved a police vehicle. Police officers were trapped there, and Kenyans were getting to the vehicle and saying, kama ni hao, wachana nao. And he was feeling very bad. Here, we are reminding them that they may have not even seen the worst. Yeah. Kenyans have demonstrated how unmerciful they can get when you don't have chills, when you don't consider whatever they are going through. We have seen that exhibited with the leaders who have found themselves in trouble or had losses of their family or loved ones, how Kenyans have expressed themselves. They will not have mercy. So, police officers, we understand that some of you are our brothers, our sisters, our fathers, but we do not know what happens to these police officers when they put on that uniform and that crown. Please be reminded that after taking off that crown and that uniform, you become a Kenyan citizen, and you'll go back to the society, you'll go back to the community, you'll go back to these people you've been chasing up and down in the streets, clobbering them with your batons. Please exercise some restraint. If you want Kenyans to appreciate and embrace you as part of society, as was intended when they said they are doing away with the police camps, police living in their camps and integrated in the community. If you want to feel the warmth of Kenyans, please exercise some restraint. And like I want to agree with the advice Rigiji was giving, and that is what Obuya has reiterated here, that, you will take that order blindly. And then it dawns on you when you are in the dock alone. That is when you realize, okay, we were not together. I was on my own. So tomorrow, show the powers that be, show your masters that you also have some brain. Let it not be proven, as is being alleged, that those that join the police service are people who have hit the wall in terms of pursuing their endeavors and their futures. Please prove to the world that you can be a better police service.
It is no use for us to convert our police from a force to a service and to keep telling policemen where they are making failure. But then we have some other Kenyans who wengine tunasikia walifika class 3 who wake up and then on a day of demonstrations they are giving instructions to policemen. They are telling them that you are going to work with goons. They are telling them that you are going to work together. In fact, they were working together with goons to beat up innocent civilians who were carrying no weapons. Now, if we are going to allow that to happen, then it makes no use for us to train our policemen. The policemen must only take instructions from people who have been trained in policing. Keganjo, mimi niko sure sijaienda Keganjo huko kusomea mambo ya polisi, but niko sure hakuna lesson walifunzwa today is how to cooperate with goons and how to make sure you're not beating goons who have weapons against citizens who have weapons. There is no such lessons at Keganjo. So when they come, they find themselves in a very unfortunate and very awkward situation because they have someone who does not understand anything about policing, giving instructions to policemen. This is what is affecting our country. And if we continue like this, then tuseme tu, kama mtu anataka kuwa napea police instructions, anaenda Keganjo, anatrainiwa kwanza. Then we can be able to have them take instructions, because you can't do that. Then I was just looking here, Jeff, and I have seen, I was watching Citizen, we were having this conversation, that State House has been allocated. Yeah, you remember first there was money for renovation, about close to 900 million. Yeah. State House has become a construction site. It's in a constant state of hammering and construction. Sijui nini endelea State House. Every hour, there's 1.3 million being consumed at State House. It looks like it's a small amount of money. But now contrast that with what they've done. School feeding program. Yani watoto wote wa primary wa Kenya, they are 10 million. They've been given 3 billion. In fact, in this budgetary proposal, they are proposing to cut 600 million from school feeding program. Yani 10 million children across the country mnawapatia 3 billion alafu mnaona ni mingi, mnaanza kusema mpunguze by 600 million. Then there is a useless institution. By then nilikuwa nimesema there's a useless institution called State House, and I call it useless. If there is a parastatal, you know venye walikuwa nasema privatize. If there's one thing we need to privatize is State House, because it's the only place we spend a lot of money and then get no value back. So kabla museme ati sijui muta privatize Kenya Ports Authority, muta privatize sijui Kenya Pipeline, the first thing you need to privatize is State House, because our money is spent there, we don't live there, and we get zero benefits from State House.
But Obuya goes there once in a while for
Sahi kwanza unaona roof inakaa ya BNB. So they have to change the dynamics of, and then by the way wanaenda tena wanallocate Office of the President 4.6 billion. Ile Harambee House aendangi, si tunajua president wetu anashindanga juu ya Land Cruiser huko juu, na saa zile yuko juu ya Land Cruiser ako kwa meetings za empowerment, na saa zile yuko kwa meetings za empowerment maybe once in a while ako State House. Sasa hii Harambee House first ilipatiwa 2.3 billion ya renovation, then imepatiwa another 4.6 billion. Yes, Harambee House tu, na watoto wote wa Kenya mnasema 3 billion is too much for feeding, for food. Nimejaribu kudivide, nikaona by the if you take 3 billion, and I challenge Kenyans, chukua tu calculator 3, then I want you to put 9 zeros. A billion has got 9 zeros, so take 3, put 9 zeros. Then I want you to divide by 365 days, and then you divide by 10 million children. Imagine wamepatiana 60 cents per child per meal in Kenya. Yani wameangalia watoto wa Kenya wakaona kila mtoto anafaa kula 60 cents per day.
less than a
Kwa whole
shilling.
year. 60 cents haijafika 1 bob. Na hao ndio watoto mnasema ni future ya Kenya. Then we have the Kamkets telling us they are going to beat us up. It's a very sad place to be.
When June 25th happened, people thought, and the president, withdrew the bill. People thought, wait a minute, change is coming. The president made promises. He said there will be no more, there will be austerity measures. There will be no more billions coming to the State House. There will be no more, confidential budget lines, vote lines. He said there will be no more harambes. He said there will be, reduced appointments into government, parastatals and government offices, just to make sure that Kenyans then feel the money that they need to feel. They focus more on development. Has anything happened? Zero has happened. Zero has happened. We are back to harambes. We are back to Kamket talking to us the way he wants to talk to us. We are back to, Sudi saying if they look for votes and azitoshi watajua venye wanafanya namna hii kura zijae. The arrogance is back. The flamboyance is back. All those things that the youth were fighting against during the June 25th demos, nothing has changed. And so when you ask me if there's hope, I will tell you there's very, very little hope. I don't think that our politicians and our leaders still take us seriously. I don't think that our anger as a nation has boiled enough for them to feel what we are feeling. And I think it will require 1 or 2 more June 25th for them to wake up and smell the coffee, because nothing has changed.
Yeah.
The president is back to his element that he was before June 25th.